Our top story now. Parliament's Environmental Affairs Portfolio Committee has entered the fray over the Clifton Beach saga. It says it will summon the City of Cape Town and the private security company involved to appear before it in the new year. The committee says laws allow for any person to visit any beach when they want to. It's labelled the incident as racially motivated. And for more on this, we're joined by the committee's chairperson, that's Philemon Mapulane. He joins us from our Durban studios. Mr. Mapulane, thank you very much for your time. If I could just quote from your statement, and these are your words, that this incident is both barbaric and racist. What brings you to this conclusion when the mayor of Cape Town says this security company, this private security company, appears to have kicked everybody off the beach? There was nothing, or there was no racial profiling of any sort?
Well, we are calling this incident racist and barbaric based on the media reports that we have received, that there is a private company that has acted purportedly under the instruction of the City of Cape Town. And our information is that this company was removing mainly black people from the beaches of Clifton. We are saying that we are condemning this act because we view it as contrary to the constitutional spirit. In fact, it's unlawful in a sense that the Integrated Coastal Management Act allows everybody, irrespective of the color or their creed, to have access and to enjoy our beaches and our coastal areas.
Mr. Mapulane, is your wording not too strong, though, given that you are saying that your statement is based on reports and so there's nothing conclusive yet? The City of Cape Town itself says it's still conducting an investigation. Therefore, the words barbaric and racist, are those words, what's the word I'm looking for? Are those words not too strong for the time being, though?
Well, we have to use the strong language, given the fact that we do not expect this type of thing to happen 24 years into democracy. Now, the information at our disposal that has been reported to us is that only black people were targeted to be removed from the beaches there at Clifton. And from the pictures that we also observed is that it was clearly an incident by a private security company that was targeting mainly black people on the beaches. I've gone through the statement from the City of Cape Town, which also acknowledges that this private company was indeed doing something that was unlawful. The statement from the City of Cape Town says that they were not acting under their instruction, therefore they are distancing themselves from that action, meaning that they do acknowledge themselves that that action was unlawful, that action was unwarranted, and that action targeted mainly black people. Of course, we are going to summon everybody as soon as we resume business. Parliament resumes business in January. We are going to call the City of Cape Town. We are going to call this private security company. We are going to call anybody who might have been associated with this incident. Of course, we are also going to call those people who were on the beaches to come and give an account of what exactly happened, to come and account to Parliament, because we really take a dim view of what has happened at our beaches there in Clifton.
Once you've called these people, Chairperson, once you've summoned the City of Cape Town officials and, of course, this PPA, the private security company in question here, and you find that indeed whatever that has been alleged is indeed true, what are the punitive measures that can be expected from your side? Add to that the reports that this is actually not the first incident of its kind. In other words, this is not just happening at Clifton Beach, it might also be happening in other beaches in Cape Town.
Well, there are a wide array of measures that as Parliament we can take to make account to those who have been responsible for this action. The Constitution allows us as Parliament to come with whatever sanctions that we deem necessary. So we are going to look at that. I do not want to preempt because it's going to be the committee that will have to look at that in its collective. But of course, I think as South Africans, we must condemn this kind of actions. They do not belong in this current democratic dispensation. They belong in the apartheid past. You know, most of the people who have been there, they have themselves tweeted about this incident, about the fact that they've been removed. And where we are seated, we have got irrefutable evidence that black people were being targeted there. And I think we must send a very strong message to ever and anybody who thinks that they can restrict access to public places to people of color. We fought for this liberation, we fought for this democracy. Many of the people died, perished to have the kind of democracy that we have, to have the kind of freedom of association, freedom of movement that we are having. We cannot allow anybody at whatever corner of this country, whether it is at the city of Cape Town or anywhere else, to restrict access to public places for certain people of color, in particular black people. We are reeling from the scars of apartheid here. And these people must understand where we come from. And we are never going to allow this kind of a situation where our people are going to be taken out violently and unlawfully from the beaches.
You know, Mr. Mapulane,
so
as you were talking,
our initial response.
As you were talking, we actually were running a confrontation that ensued over a sheep that has since been slaughtered on the beach as part of a cleansing ceremony by those who are saying that there is definitely racism involved here. Firstly, do you approve of what has occurred there? Because what you saw on the screen, you're obviously not able to see from your side, but it's a white woman confronting a fellow black South African, and it's really ugly. As you say, we're reeling from the scars of apartheid. When you just imagine the scenes as I'm describing to you, where are we going here in this country in terms of race relations really being harmonized?
Well, unfortunately, I'm not able to see the visuals that you are referring to. But obviously, an incident of this nature is bound to stir up the kind of responses that you are talking about. And we really must be responsible as South Africans. We must be responsible. We must stay away from stoking racial disharmony, racial hatred. Because of course, black people, Africans in particular, are coming from a past where they've been oppressed, are coming from a past where they've been exploited, are coming from a past where they did not have access to those kind of places. And when you remind them of the racist and their violent past, of course, we are going to get that kind of a reaction. I can't sit here and say I condone that, but I do understand the kind of rage that black people in the main are experiencing as a result of this action.
Just as a final question to you, Mr. Mapulane, the city of Cape Town says that it will be conducting an investigation. In fact, it says, it's been saying this since Monday, that they are conducting an investigation over what happened. Do you trust them to conduct a fair and objective investigation here?
Well, they do have a right to conduct their own investigation. And of course, it is the result of that investigation that they will present to Parliament. And of course, if we are not happy about the outcome of those investigations, We will pronounce ourselves on that question. We might, if necessary, instruct that there must be an independent investigation if we are not happy with the outcome of that investigation. But of course, as a lawful authority in that area that is responsible for the bylaws there, they have got the right to initiate their own investigation. But if we are not happy, we'll of course demand that an independent investigation must be initiated, because we need to put a stop to this thing. We must nip it in the bud. This type of conduct, this type of behavior doesn't belong in this democratic dispensation.
All right. Thank you very much for your time. That was Philemon Mapulane. He is the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Environmental Affairs in Parliament. Let's turn